KIRO 7 News. When you tap in for a ride share, you don't know much about the driver who's about to pick you up. Well, it turns out they know more about you than you might realize. A new study finds black travelers may have to wait longer for an Uber in Seattle than white travelers. I'm Dave Wagner.
And I'm Monique Mingolov, now that study done through the University of Washington is getting national attention. KIRO 7's Graham Johnson is live right now in Belltown. And Graham, you talked with the UW professor who led this research.
That's right, and he tells me that old discrimination that's happened for years when taxis pass people by continues now in a new form with new technology, and it starts when people request a ride with an app. Uber is the new way we get around, but new research shows how long you wait for a pickup could depend on your race.
There is still discrimination happening.
University of Washington transportation engineering professor Don McKenzie sent black and white UW students onto Seattle streets to request an Uber or Lyft. He found black students had to wait 20% longer to get a trip accepted and 30% longer for the car to show up. In Boston, researchers sent a single student out with 2 Uber profiles so they could compare Aisha to Allison and Rashid to Todd.
When the name that a passenger used was a stereotypically African-American name, they were much more likely to have the trip accepted and then canceled.
Nicole Riley has been a fan of Uber.
But my name is Nicole Riley, so my name might not be one that they automatically think is African-American.
Former driver Yosef Tashahai has lots of complaints with Uber, but
I didn't see any discrimination.
Professor McKenzie suggests ride-hailing companies periodically audit their drivers' behavior and cancellations and consider going to a system where no names are used. McKenzie says there's no evidence that companies themselves discriminate.
These are the actions of individual drivers who are using those platforms, and we have no reason to think it's every driver.
Now, Uber sent me a statement today saying the company is helping to reduce transportation inequities and says studies like this are helpful in pointing out ways that they can do more. Now, Lyft says it does not tolerate any form of discrimination. Live in Seattle, Graham Johnson, KIRO 7 News.
Graham, we did mention discrimination by taxi drivers at the top of the story. Does this study have any information at all about that?
Yeah, they actually sent those same students, UW students, out on the streets of Seattle to hail taxis, Dave, and there's some interesting findings there. Researchers say the first passing taxi stopped for white travelers 60% of the time, compared to less than 20% of the time for black travelers.
Interesting. All right, Graham Johnson reporting tonight. We do want to hear about your experiences with Uber and Lyft, wait times, if you've ever had a ride canceled, and why. You can join that conversation right now on the KIRO 7 Facebook page.